Good morning. This is Dulia De Silva for Gold FM, bringing you your morning news.
The news headlines on Gold FM.
In your news headlines, new guidelines on saving power and energy. Bus fares rise by 12.19%. Bakery products also increase prices. Did Sri Lanka invite Iranian warships? Iran agrees to halt uranium enrichment, says Trump, but Iran remains defiant. Death toll in Colombia plane crash rises to 34.
The top story on Gold FM.
Private bus owners state the new fare hike introduced by the National Transport Commission provides a sufficient adjustment at this time. Lanka Private Bus Owners Association President Gamano Wijeratna confirmed normal bus operations resumed this morning, following cabinet approval for a 12.19% raise. The minimum bus fare now rises from 27 rupees to 30 rupees, while the maximum fare increases by 263 rupees, moving from 2,159 rupees to 2,422 rupees. The National Transport Commission announced legal action against any operators charging above the regulated rates, urging the public to report violations via the 1955 hotline. Meanwhile, bakery product prices, including bread, rose by 10 rupees today, according to the All-Island Bakery Owners Association President, N.K. Jayawardena. Despite these hikes, milk powder importers and wheat flour companies assured Minister Vasantha Samrasinghe that prices for those specific commodities will not increase for at least 3 months.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
There was quite a revelation yesterday by the Iranian ambassador in Colombo, Dr. Alireza Delkosh. He revealed that Sri Lankan side invited all 3 vessels that took part in a multinational naval exercise, one of which was later blown out of the water near Sri Lanka by a US submarine. He had other clarifications too. Delkosh insisted that vessels are not being charged to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, despite there being reports to the contrary. On the Iranian vessel that met its end near Sri Lanka, the Iristina, he had this to say.
According to our information, Dena was not ready for war, and it was not here for war. It was not here for conflict. It was participated in peaceful exercise in India. During presence in India, the vessel, 2 other vessels were invited, I repeat it, invited by Sri Lankan side to come here. And just they came here upon their invitation. And when they were here, they didn't receive any alert in advance from United States. They attacked it without any war, without any alert. And because more of these killed people are not armed army, they were music group, music band. Their weapons were saxophone and violin, and they were killed. 104 people without any alerts.
He then gave further clarity.
During the exercise in India, your Navy commander invited from Iranian Navy commander to send these vessels to Sri Lankan's waters in order to have friendly visits. 3 of them. 1 went to Indian coast and 2 of them came here. Dena was attacked and Bushehr is here.
In response to a question, the Iranian ambassador noted that Sri Lanka only needs to ask if it needs any help with oil.
Sri Lanka is our friend country, and Hormuz Strait is not close to our friend country's vessels. Because of that, Iran always is ready to provide all necessities of friendly countries like Sri Lanka. And in any case, if Sri Lanka demands oil or any other necessity goods, Iran will supply and provide these goods to Sri Lanka. We don't want to see Sri Lanka in trouble. And nation of Sri Lanka is very esteemed and respected people to Iran.
He took the opportunity to insist that Iran at this stage is not favouring a ceasefire.
Our government said that we are not welcoming war, but we don't want to have ceasefire. Ceasefire is temporary issue, and after a while they will attack again. We want to have peace talking, but with our preconditions. We have some preconditions. And if these preconditions fulfilled, yes, we can talk and we can go to negotiation. But right now, definitely, we don't want to have any negotiation with our aggressors. The aggressors should withdraw without any precondition from our region, and they have to compensate to all attacks.
There was also a warning.
Iran neither seeks war nor welcomes it. The Iranian nation is a peace-loving nation, and history bears witness to this. At the same time, we respond decisively to any aggressors in defense of our land. Countries that stand with the aggressors are, according to international law, accomplices in the regime's act of aggressions. I repeat my message. Don't be complicit in the crimes of the United States and Israel's regime.
The computer system at the Department for Registration of Persons remains offline following a sudden breakdown. Officials confirmed all public services, including the one-day service at the Battaramulla head office and all provincial branches, will remain suspended today. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake instructed authorities to discuss measures with local government authorities to formally manage energy consumption at the local level. These instructions followed a discussion at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. For more information regarding the full guidelines, visit www.hirunews.lk/en.
Now for some news in brief.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts showers or thundershowers at several places in western, southern, Uva and Sabragamu provinces and in Kandy and Nureli districts after 2 p.m.
The business news on Gold FM.
And now it's time for a stock market update brought to you by Rushan Fernando of Capital Trust Securities.
The market fell sharply as bumper fuel price hike during the weekend weighted the investor sentiments towards downwards. The all-share price index dropped 274 points to close at 20,364. The S&P SR20 index also dropped 64 points to close at 5,686. The turnover was 2.37 billion rupees. Traders was activity led by John Keys Holdings, IOC, Commercial Bank of Ceylon. Sector-wise, actively concentrated was capital goods, banking and diversified financial sector. Total 197 stocks declined while 35 stocks gained. Colombo Dockyard, John Keys Holdings, Real Properties were the main drags towards all-share price index.
International news on Gold FM.
US President Donald Trump claims the United States and Iran held productive conversations regarding a total resolution of hostilities in the Middle East. Writing on social media, Trump announced a 5-day postponement of strikes on Iran's power plants, a move that caused immediate drops in global oil and gas prices. Speaking at a roundtable in Minnesota, this is what he had to say.
As I announced earlier, based on preliminary conversations between the United States and Iran over the past 2 days, I've directed the Department of War to temporarily postpone planned strikes against major energy and electricity targets in Iran. They have very, very big, new, actually, and very expensive, billions of dollars it costs to build them. One missile, one of our powerful ones, and it comes down to the ground like it was made out of dust. But to determine whether a broader agreement can be reached, we've had very good discussions, very, very good discussions. Americans. And you have to understand, I know my whole life has been a negotiation, but with Iran, we've been negotiating for a long time. And this time they mean business. And it's only because of the great job that our military did is the reason they mean business. They want to settle, and we're going to get it done, I hope.
He also went on to say that Iran should never have nuclear weapons.
Hopefully this will be possible, but no matter what, we'll ensure that Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon. They would have had one if we allowed the Obama deal to stand. That was the Iran nuclear deal, they called it. They would have had one. Marcia 3. I tell you what, Martha, we would have nuclear weapons up there, when, would you say, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 4 years ago? We would have been in a position that nobody wants to be in. We won't allow ourselves to be in that position.
Later speaking to reporters, Trump stated what he wants Iran to do with the enriched uranium.
We're looking for all of the things that we've been talking about. We want to see no nuclear bomb, no nuclear weapon, not even close to it, low-key on the missiles. We want to see peace in the Middle East. We want the nuclear dust. We're going to want that, and I think we're going to get that. We've agreed to that. Yeah, we've agreed to that.
You want the enriched uranium before you can end this.
And we want no enrichment, but we also want the enriched uranium. If this happens, it's a great start for Iran to build itself back, and it's everything that we want. And it's also great for Israel, and it's great for the other Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all of them, Kuwait and Bahrain in particular, so it's great for all of them.
However, Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said in a social media post that no negotiations were held with the US. In the meantime, Professor Michael Clark, a prominent defense analyst, read between the lines of the postponement message from US President Donald Trump.
And we were discussing it, that he was likely to back down on this or likely to find room to not implement it because it was such a serious step to take which would spin the war completely out of anyone's control. It occurs to me also there may be a technical reason for this. I mean, if you look at what the United States was talking about doing, attacking the whole infrastructure, there's over 400 power generation plants in Iran. It's big, physically a big country, much bigger than Britain, 90-odd million people, producing about 90,000 megawatts of power, and so there's a lot of them. And it might well be that the military said, when he said prepare this plan, the military might have said, well, what effect are you trying to have, boss? We could take out the small ones, wouldn't have a big effect. We could take out the big ones, have a big effect. What do you want? A lot of time must have gone into thinking about what they would actually do if he carried through on his threats, and they only had 48 hours to do it. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the military didn't say to him, Mr. President, we're not sure what target set would have the effect you want to have, and it'll take us a bit of time to work that out and to actually plan for the sort of attacks that we need on those targets.
He also spoke of Iran's response.
Interestingly, the Iranians are now saying, we didn't have any talks with them, either directly or through intermediaries.
Yeah, that's what I thought was really interesting, because they're framing this as,
unilateral decision.
Yeah.
You backed off, Mr. President. Taco. Trump always chickens out. That's what they will say. We stood up to you. You backed out. The Iranians think that they're winning. They've established conditions. They've said we want a closure of all American bases. We want Gulf money to reconstruct Iranian damage after this war. There's zero chance that those conditions would ever be accepted. But the fact that they're naming these conditions tells you that they think they're winning. They think that they're in a position to establish some terms rather than just wanting the war to stop. So, as misguided as that may be, because ultimately I think this may bring down the Iranian regime, not now, but maybe in 6 months' time or 2 years' time. They may win the war against America and then lose the war against their own people, other states in the Gulf, who will have nothing to do with them after this war. So I think in the long term, Trump's policy might work.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
A California jury ordered Bill Cosby to pay $19.25 million to a woman he drugged and assaulted in 1972. The former waitress testified that the entertainer incapacitated her with a pill and wine during a trip to one of his shows. Cosby's lawyers deny the accusations and will appeal the ruling.
Sports news on Gold FM.
Sri Lanka Cricket Selection Committee officials informed opening batsman Kusal Chanit Perera that he no longer is under consideration for the national squad. Cricket sources state that Perera will now exit the Sri Lanka Cricket contracted players list. That's it for now. This is Zulia De Silva for Gold FM. Thank you and have a lovely day ahead.